Deal or No Deal debuted on December 19th, 2005. If you had invested $10,000 in each FANG name that day, how would you have done? Facebook had not IPO'd yet. Company was less than 2 years old. Google, now Alphabet, that stake would be worth 51 grand as of yesterday's close. Apple, 167,000. Netflix, almost $1 million, 965, and Amazon, $350,000. Pretty incredible.
You may as well just play Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal making its return Wednesdays on CNBC after almost 10 years. Joining us this morning on set after ringing the opening bell is the host and the executive producer, Howie Mandel. Howie, it is always good to see you.
Great to see you, Congratulations. Carl. I love that game you just played.
It's hard to do it as well as you.
The anticipation was there. The only difference between the way you did it and I did it is you gave all the information without going to a break.
That's right.
You didn't say you'll find out what Amazon would be worth
in a moment
when we come back.
Right.
There was also nobody to open the briefcases, which was,
although we do have some of the Deal or No Deal.
The Deal or No Deal models are here on the floor with me. We got to ring the bell. It's very exciting. It is really exciting.
I'm always amazed. People may not know this about you, the level of prep that you do on the contestants, their life stories, what the money could mean for their lives in the future. That's all in here when you do your show.
Well, yes, but ultimately the producers and the people that cast these people, when the call went out from CNBC to do, that we're doing this show and you possibly could be a contestant, the amount of information, we want somebody ultimately that the audience is going to be engaged with and relate to for an hour, and you want it to mean something, you want to be relatable, so we need to know all that, because I don't think there's anybody alive that wouldn't want to be on the show and win, but it's got to be a certain kind of person that you want to root for, or you want to just be entertained by, so we know all that before we go in.
I didn't know you were coming on with us, and yet I watched 2 episodes on Wednesday night. I don't even know how it happened, and they were great.
Well, really thank you. Without even knowing I was going to be here,
not a clue.
You watched CNBC on Wednesday night. Who would think that when you're at home and not here, that you would even spend a moment watching this network?
Nobody would.
What a surprise.
Nobody would, actually. And it was great.
Thank you.
The anticipation, just the excitement. My daughter was in the room, and she kept leaving. She didn't want to see what would happen. But I was also struck on both contestants. We forget sometimes how many people in this country live paycheck to paycheck. How many people in this country have so much debt. Both of the contestants, it meant so much for them. And it was a reminder of, I think they're both going to use it to pay off debts or their house or something else.
Well, it's real, and not only that, and, that's why I'm so thrilled to be a small part of CNBC. When we first did it in 2005, there are books in investments that have kind of quoted and talked about and studied what Deal or No Deal is. It's risk versus reward, and that's ultimately what the stock exchange is about. It's risk and how much and how do you kind of divvy up your portfolio. By the same token, when there's somebody sitting on our floor, what do they do? What is it worth? How do you walk away? I said that Wednesday night. The guy said on the first offer, that's half of what I make a year. Well, would you invest half of your earnings in the stock market right now and go for it? Because ultimately, there is no divine answer, right?
I was just going to say, what's the winning strategy? Those that take the bigger risk or play it safe?
You tell me, what's the big strategy? What's the big strategy right here on this floor? Taking the big risk or playing it safe?
Somewhere in between, I think.
Well, it's somewhere in between, but it's also where you are in your life and what your needs are. I mean, you should not, more risk, there's probably more reward, but can you afford to do that? And what are you putting at stake for doing that? So when people walk away, like the first episode that actually aired, as the Christmas episode, there was a young man who had a wife and a baby, and he played it, risking it, all the way to the end. 2 cases, $500,000 and $750,000, an offer for $350,000 on the board, an opportunity to negotiate. He said no deal, went all in, and walked out with $5. How many people have done this on this floor right here?
Wow. Really quick, on media, I remember you from St. Elsewhere when networks were king. You came in with reality television. We're talking Netflix earnings today. When you think of media in the big sense, what's the trend in terms of what viewers are going to crave?
The trend is to be aware that it's always changing. So, you know, the trend is, you know, whether it's with Netflix or whether it's with some other digital or Facebook or some, you know, how people and different sectors of our population are ingesting and buying into this. So I think that you can never, there's not one answer. There may be an answer right in this minute. Right now, people are binge watching on Netflix. You know, next year it could be Facebook or YouTube or, you know, 10-minute bites. So I think we have to be kind of fluid and open.
Howie, we're so happy for you and happy for us. Thank you for the time.
I'm thrilled to be part of the family. Am I part of the family?
Yes, you're part of the family.
And I'm thrilled that you watch CNBC.
I do.
Howie Mandel, Squawk in the Streets, back in a moment.
Thank you.